everybody, and welcome back to another video, also known as my February TBR list video. You might think at the end of this video, who the earth picks to have that many books to read with this short amount of, days, because, February only has 28 days. Let me tell you, I did not pick it to be like this. I was only going to pick 3 books, but because I work at a school, I am required to read books for students in classes. If you have not watched my very first book video that I did last year, I have been mentioned that I do that from time to time where I have to read books for students, and there is a couple in my TBR that I am reading for them. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Before I start by showing you guys everything that's on my TBR, I am going to show you what I read for January and my reviews for them, because I did not share that with you guys because I kept it a secret. The first book that I read for 2025 was The Hunger Games, and you may say, The Hunger Games? You never read The Hunger Games? No, when I was a teenager, I wasn't really into reading, and I think I repeat this in almost every single reading video, that I, as a teenager, was not very fond of reading because I have problems reading and comprehending stuff, so that's why I use audiobooks. Anyways, this is The Hunger Games, and the author is Susan Collins, published September 14th, 2008, so I was only 8 years old when the book came out. And so, of course, I wasn't into that because I was only 8. I mean, some 8-year-olds might have been, I'm not sure. Anyways, this is a dystopian New York Times bestseller book. It originally, I think it says it originally cost $13, but my mom actually gives me for Christmas, so I'm pretty sure she picked out of a free little library somewhere based off of how bent and broken this book is. I've been trying to take very good care of it so it could stay in its condition. If I would be able to pick up a better used copy than this, I would, but I have not seen any lately. It is rated 4.3 stars on Goodreads. I think I either also rated as a 4, I think. Not a 5. I have a hard time rating things 5 unless they're really good. And this book is 374 pages. And my review for this is that I really enjoyed reading this book. Like, I did not want to put it down as of, this week, because it's Saturday the 1st. I finished reading this, I think it was on Tuesday, and I could not wait to read the next one, but I didn't pick it up right away because I wanted to finish all the other books that I had first. The next book I have here is Taylor Before and After by Jenny Ungland. So I did not get to post my book haul from December because for some reason the footage went missing, and this was my actual blind date with a book that I got, and I didn't know anything about this, and it was really hard for me to find audio for this. I ended up having to purchase it on Spotify, but this is a mental health book about a girl named Taylor who goes back and forth between the time of before the accident and after the accident. You would have to read the book to figure out what I mean by the accident, but it just takes you through her 8th grade year of mental health that she goes through with not herself but with her family and her mom and her brother, and what it's like to have friends versus not having friends and stuff like that. This was published February 18th, 2020. This is a middle grade mental health book, so it was a little bit easier for me to read, but also a little bit harder because it is for, like, middle school freshman kind of book. This originally would cost $17 at a bookstore, but I got it for $16 at a local shop in town here, and it is rated 3.9 stars on Goodreads. I think I might have rated it 3 or 4. I am not sure because I can't remember, because I finished this also on Tuesday, and it was 320 pages long, and I enjoyed it up until a certain in point. It kind of got it like dragged a lot, where there was nothing going on, and it was just experiencing a whole bunch of sadness all in one go. And I was just like, I cannot continue reading the sadness when I am trying to, have a good time. Because sometimes if you really get into a book, it tends to affect you sometimes if you're really into it. Like the Hunger Games, I felt like my heart beating when there was those like very hyper energetic scenes, and then in this book you read that right after that and your heart kind of just stops and you start to feel sad. And I was like, I gotta put this book down. And then the last book that I had on my January TBR that I read, and this book will kind of shock you because a lot of people probably not heard of this book. This is Death in the Downline by Maria Abrams. It was published January 14th, 2025. I know, this came out just this year. And you may say, then how did you get the book so fast? Then just straight up buying it. I have the ARC version. My mom got, actually, I'm trying to think here. I don't think my mom got this book. She had given me other books for Christmas, and she said if I didn't like certain books, I could always just put them in the free little libraries. And there was books that I didn't particularly like, so I took them to a free little library that our public library actually sponsors, and they put ARCs in there of books that are coming out or have already come out. And this was in there, and I kind of liked the title of the book. I didn't know if this was going to be the actual cover. It actually is. And so I picked it up. And if you don't know what an ARC is, an advanced reader's copy, meaning that it is not the final draft. I did read this with audio because I waited till the audio came out to read it. And yes, there are differences between the final copy versus the actual copy of the book. So that was interesting. This is a mystery book. It originally cost $19 if you were get it now, even though I got this at the free little library. It was 3.7 stars on Goodreads. That might change as more people choose to read it. And it is 304 pages. And it is about this lady. Her name is Drew. She is a journalist who ends up coming back home because her job kind of like fired her, and her boyfriend dumped her for someone else, and she kind of didn't have the money to stay in New York. She goes home with her dad in her hometown, and she ends up reconnecting with an old friend of hers. And her old friend decides to recruit her to this place called Luminous, which is a distributor of products like health, like beauty products, skincare products and stuff. And as she is in this group of ladies, people start to die around her, like ladies, luminous ladies, and she ends up going on this adventure to figure out what is causing this. And I'm not going to tell you the end of it because you're going to want to read it, but let me tell you, if you ever heard of Avon, that is kind of that whole entire story of Avon, like the actual products, is kind of fit into this book like that, except it's changed to different names. But you're really going to want to read this. So I didn't want to share my bullet journal segment for the rest of these, so I figured I would just save that till the end of the year so I can show you guys exactly what it looks like, because it is a work in progress. But I did pick that for this month that the next letters that I would be doing is B and M. I did not have any B or N YouTubers, sadly, but I do have the movies, my physical movies that I have behind me here that I chose to watch for B and N. Let me tell you, they're like, the stack is really short compared to last month's with A and M. So I'm going to go through that real quick. For B, I have the Lego Batman movie, and before anybody questions me, how the earth do I pick what letter they're going to be, I don't ever use the word the. I will X out the and whatever the next thing is. And you might say, but it's the Lego. And I'm just like, I know whatever is the biggest word in the title, which meaning Batman, it would be for B. And I think watched this several times already, so should be a quick run through again because I enjoyed it so much. And then I have The Brave Little Toaster. This is a older Disney movie. It's a cartoon, and you might say, why does it look like this? And that's because it's pre-recorded on a VHS. I have VHSs. And then also, once again, this doesn't follow the rule. The Emperor's New Groove with N. And then this one, which I have actually never seen. I know I'm going to be 25 this year, and I've never seen this movie up until now. And I know that I could have watched this 2 months ago when it was relevant, but I will be watching The Nightmare Before Christmas. And that's everything for movies. And now on to the main event of this video, also known as my February TBR. I have books that are here and books I'm going to be taking off my shelf that are on my TBR. I have one book that is actually currently not here that I think I'm going to put a picture on the screen right here right now. And that is The Giver by Lois Lowry. And I am currently reading that with a student as a one-on-one English class because they are new to the district and they have some reading issues, and so I get to help them with that. I've actually read that book I think maybe like 2, and this is my 3rd time reading it, and we're just reading it back and forth to each other, so I don't have really much information on that as I don't currently have the book. Starting with sophomores, because that student that I am reading The Giver with is a freshman. For my sophomores, they are in English Comm for sophomores, and they have to pick a book to do this thing known as a tiny house project, where they have to make a house for the main character that they think that they would like based off their personality and stuff. And so the first book I have, and you may say this is not actually a book, it's a paper copy. That's because I couldn't get a physical copy of the book like anywhere. It's really hard to find this book, even for listings to buy it. It's really hard. Audio is really hard to get. I messed up with trying to get the audio. Now it's even harder for me to read it. And yes, I did check the public library for that one person who's going to comment, why didn't you check the public library? I did. They don't even have it in their inventory anywhere. But it is this book right here. It is My Real Name is Hannah, and not spelled the same Hannah as me, because mine is with an H at the end. It is by Tara Lynn Mashi. I'm not going to tell you much about the book because I want to wait until March TBR to tell you guys I like the book, but let me tell you, it is about a Ukrainian girl in the Holocaust. And you're going to start to see a theme right about now coming up. And the next book that I'm reading for another sophomore that I just got yesterday, this is going to be a little different for me because I hardly ever read books like this, is this book right here. This is Odyssea, and it is by Jonathan Hill. Apparently this is the first one out of I don't know how many, because it didn't list how many books there are, but this is volume 1, and I'm pretty sure, if I remember quickly, when I was talking to the student about this, because they are ahead of me and I am behind because I haven't been able to get a copy until yesterday. I think it's about people who go through an earthquake. I'm not sure. Or like the after effects of an earthquake. That should be interesting. And then the last one that I'm reading for a student that's actually a junior in English Comm is this little tiny book here. This is probably going to take me only 1 week to read because I'm already a chapter into it. This is Night by Ellis Wiesel. I'm sorry if I say that wrong. I know that they had pronounced it several times for me, and I still... this is a short story. It's a memoir about this guy's life in the Holocaust. Yes, I'm learning a lot of stuff about the Holocaust. It's really gruesome for me, and it's really hard for me to do so much stuff with the Holocaust, knowing all the very detailed details about the Holocaust. We had to do a guided notes for it, and it was really hard for me to focus and be able to sleep the night after because of all the details, and I'm telling you that a Holocaust is nothing that you should ever joke about. I know that um, some people like dark humor, and I get that because I would support my boyfriend with his dark humor stuff, especially the reels on Instagram. But I'm telling you, if you really, really joke about it or really think about it, it's not something to joke about. Lots of people died. Getting into the second half, my TBR, I have one that I already started reading because I needed books to read while I was waiting for other books to come in. And also on Spotify, you get, I think it's 15 hours of reading audiobooks if you pay for like you're the main person to pay for your plan or whatever. And so I had only read like maybe like 7 hours of my 15 for January. So I started reading for February just so I could use up that extra time, just in case I feel like reading more than what I already have. So the next book that I already started reading, I think I'm 2 chapters in already, so I'm ahead of schedule for this one, is Loving You Always by Kennedy Ryan. This is a very adult story, yeah, about this pregnant lady named Karis who's in a marriage with a guy named Cam, and he leaves her because they are thought that they were meant to be, but not really, and it was because she had shared a kiss with his best friend Walsh, and it goes just through, I guess, the adult life of what happens between Karis and Walsh. But that's all I know so far. I had picked this book up back in December from a little bookstore when I was on Christmas vacation with my family, and my mom and me were gonna read this together, but she is also like me. She works the same job, but a little bit more difficult job than me because of the students she has, so she doesn't have a lot of time to read. So I said I would read this first, and if I liked it, I would give it to her, and then she can read it. And so far, I like it, especially with the audiobook, because the audiobook has a guy voice and a girl voice going back and forth between the readings, which makes so much sense. The guy voice is like very sinister and very deep. So the next book that I have on my TBR is right here. You've just heard me say that I read The Hunger Games, and so I want to continue the series and read Catching Fire. This is the second one to The Hunger Games. Y'all should know by now how it is. I did watch the movies. I'm like, not when they came out, but I think a little while after I did. I have not watched the Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes. Every single video, I think I tried saying that title correctly. And I don't have that copy yet, but I would like to be able to read all of the books, hopefully up to, I think the purple one that's coming out in March is The Sunrise of the Reaping. I'm not sure. All I know is it's about Hamage, and I really want to read it. But I have this one to read, The Mockingjay, and then the Ballad, and then hopefully I will be able to get maybe that purple one maybe for my birthday. Hint, hint for anybody who's watching who knows about my birthday. Anyways, here's this one. I will leave all the extra information for the next video. And then my last book that I am reading for February, and this is not for children. I am letting you know, if you are a child, particularly any student that might be under freshman level, do not read this book, please. I am an adult, and yes, I do feel just a tiny bit bad about reading this book, but I had to know. It's right here. It is The 50 Shades of Grey. Also, by the way, this was another book that my mom got me for Christmas. If I look inside here, inside the flap, she got it from Goodwill. At least I think she did. But this one I got in very, very bad condition. I picked this up from the Goodwill bins. And I don't know too much about this book. All I know is it's raunchy, it's got a lot of hot scenes in it, and this is not a book I will be bringing to school with me. I will be reading it at home and hopefully not making myself blush a little bit too much. Did you guys enjoy this video? I sure hope that you did, because I have a lot of reading to do. I can tell you that much. So the March video might be even longer than this one. And hopefully I can get this one to render, because I had a hard time rendering my January one. Anyways, make sure that you like this video and subscribe down below if you enjoy watching the book videos, or if you are going to enjoy my new series that I just came with, also known as Junk Food. If you have not seen that video, that is the previous video, and you should go back and watch it, because what I made was super delicious for other people. Not necessarily me, but for other people. Make sure you put your notification on for whenever I'm able to put out these videos. I have been very good in getting into the new habit of being able to record and edit and post all within 48 hours. I don't know about this time because it is the weekend. But comment down below if you have read any of these books at all, or if there is any of them that you take interest in, or if you have your own February TBR and would like to leave me a recommendation down below. Anyways, I will see you guys again for another video. Bye!